Hey guys, Brandon Woolham, CCM Magazine, and today we are checking in with our pal Mickey Bell, the Christian comedian. What's up, my man?
What's going on, Brandon? Good to see you.
Good. So today we celebrate album number 2, which recently came out live from the Paramount. Take us back to that night there at the Paramount Theater and how that recording went.
Man, it was so awesome. I'm glad that I decided to record it. I wasn't going to record it, and I decided it was kind of like at the last minute that we were going to bring a crew in to record it, and I'm glad they did. We released it, and by noon of the day that we released it, it went number one on iTunes, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I never would have imagined this. The night was special. I think we captured it. And I think people, when they listen to either the streaming or the download, whatever, how they're going to listen to it these days, I think they're going to find that it's going to be like you're just sitting right there listening to the show. And it was really good.
So was it audio only, or did you pull in some video cameras where we might see some video later on too from it?
I did audio first. It was a strategic move because of the fact that this is my actual first stand-up CD. The first CD that I put out was kind of like parody music. And so this was my first stand-up. And so we were trying to do audio first. And then the next one, we're already in talks on actually getting it on video. We've got a couple of options, a couple of players out there that I can't mention yet, a couple of players out there that we're going to try to do some video with. So this was kind of get the waters wet to see, kind of how people were going to respond to it. And since they've responded so well, they're already talking about video. So very excited about it.
That's awesome. So when artists or singers, they put out an album, they get to test out their material, their new music out there on the road. Comedy works a little differently. You kind of want to keep some of this stuff secret when you're recording a special. You don't want people to know the punchlines already. How did that work with this one, since it wasn't really planned? Did you have some material that was in the can that you just tried out for the first time that night, or was it stuff that had already been tested?
No, I tested a lot of it. Some of it I went and on a riff and, probably got in trouble. But no, it was good, man. I mean, the crowd was so open and welcoming that they pulled it out of me. I probably said some things I shouldn't, but I didn't cuss. I mean, I didn't because, I'm a clean comic. I can't cuss. Mainly because, number one, I don't think you have to cuss to be funny. And number two, my mom's still alive. So, but now listen, let me tell you something, Brandon. Whenever she goes to meet Jesus, buy a ticket to that next show, because I've got some things I got to get off my chest. But no, I mean, it was a good night. It was a good night. And you're right. Social media kind of really hurts comedy in a sense, because it forces us to have to write a whole lot more than what we would normally have to do. Because you would just write a good 25, 30-minute set. You would tour that set and be done. And then, you would write whenever, you were going to do the tour again. And now you have to be on top of it because of social media.
Yeah. You've toured with Jason Crabb, David Phelps, Unspoken, so many of the Christian artists these past few years. When you go out there at those kind of dates, I'm sure you get some people who are, and the people that you come across about it are very vocal, and they disagree with Christian and comedy kind of going together, maybe not putting church and Jesus in a joke. How do you deal with that pushback from those Christian folks that you run across out there?
I'm just going to be honest with you, since it's just me and you talking. They don't get so much offended about the Christian part of it as they do about the political divide. So if I ever make any kind of reference to either side, Democrat, Republican, or Libertarian, I mean, just the reference to it will tick some people off sometimes. Like, they don't mind me messing up their religion. They just don't want me to mess up their political party. So I have found that's pretty much the line. I can make fun of any denomination, and they're going to laugh and they're going to have a great time about it. But man, you mentioned anything about a president, political party, man, they'll crucify you.
Wow. Take us back a few years to how this all started. How did you get into comedy?
Oh my goodness. While other people were having a midlife crisis, I was having a midlife start over. I was serving as a pastor of a church, man, and ended up making some bad decisions, just to be upfront and honest with you, and ended up getting fired from the church, had to start completely over. Ministry was all I knew at that time. I went into ministry at 17, worked up the ranks, had to become the youth pastor before you could become the senior pastor. And man, I just had to start over. God just directed me this path. Didn't know why. This was not even on my radar. I was raised independent, fundamental, King James Version only Baptist. We were not allowed to watch stand-up comedy because if it made you laugh, it was wrong. So I had, man, this was all new to me. And then the year before COVID, we just set out to do it. 4 years later, I mean, we're doing about 160, 170 shows a year and just put out a comedy special. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you talked about your mom earlier and being raised like that. What does she think about you doing Christian comedy now and clean comedy? She changed her stance?
Well, she likes it. I mean, they're very supportive, but now I'm always knowing my team knows to tell me if my parents are in the audience before I go out on stage. So there's certain content that I'll keep to myself if I know mom's sitting out there, especially if it's around Christmas time.
So what's the tour plans for the rest of 2024?
Man, we're just out. We're out with of course, we do a lot with Jason. Jason and I are brothers. We do a lot together because it just works well. A lot of people just really enjoy the two of us together because we'll get on stage and bounce off of each other. I got some Zach William dates coming up. Nice. We're looking at possibly some Christmas stuff with some CCM artists that I think is going to be really good. And then the next year is going to be a lot of fun. There's just a lot of things in the works tour-wise. I'm kind of an anomaly because, people just don't have comedians on their tours anymore. And so there's not really a lot of us out there. You got Chonda Pierce doing her own thing, Tim Hawkins doing his own thing. No one's really going out with a musical artist. And so I kind of get to have my pick, which is kind of nice. So my friends at Platform Artists get to choose what tours they want me on. And then we just go where we want to go. So it's a lot of fun.
It's nice when you're a one-man show and can keep your overhead nice and low too. You kind of can just pick whoever you want to go with. Like, you don't have to pay me very much. Just I'll come in my car. I'll follow you to the bus behind.
Listen, all these bands need like a 3-hour sound check. I go up there and clear my throat, and I'm good.
Love it. Anything else we're missing before we plug the album again and wrap up?
No, man, we good. We good.
Yeah, I feel like we busted everything out there nice and quick. We might have kept the audience watching since we didn't.
Listen, I'm good for 30 seconds. Listen, I'm a good 30-second clip. That's all you got to talk about.
All right. Well, good checking in with you today, Mickey, live from the Paramount. It's out there streaming now. And it sounds like there could be some other things in the works that he won't tell us about yet. So keep a check on his socials for that. Good hanging with you today, Mickey.
Brandon, thank you so much. Everybody like this CCM magazine. Keep it up and running. We got to keep this information flowing. And that's where I go to get my news. So that's where everybody else needs to go as well.